Mark Durkin. I'm President and CEO of American Municipal Power. We're headquartered out of Columbus, Ohio. To give you a little history, AMP, we actually changed our name from AMP, Ohio. The last time, if you were at the Smithland, Calton groundbreaking, we were AMP, Ohio. We've changed our name because we operate in 6 states now, and we thought it'd be more appropriate. But AMP is a nonprofit corporation that has 128 municipal electric systems in 6 states. And one of our focuses at AMP is providing wholesale power supply to our members. So projects like we're going to celebrate today are very critical to us. I'd like to thank you this morning for being here. Today we're celebrating the 2nd groundbreaking and the start of construction on the 3rd project. And this is a major hydroelectric generation development effort by our members. I've been asked, and my wife said as I went down here, are you excited about doing this one? You know, you just got done doing one last year. And I say, absolutely. And there's probably 3 good reasons for this. One is this is kind of a unique partnership. The City of Hamilton is a member of ours, but the City of Hamilton went out and got the license, and it was granted by FERC for the license. So they hold the license. What we did then is we partnered AMP with Hamilton to own 48.6% of this project, and so the rest of our members got into the project with Hamilton. Hamilton will also develop this project, and Hamilton will also operate this project as we move forward. So this is a little bit different. Hamilton's got a lot of experience in this side of the business. We felt comfortable. They're operating a Greenland project right now, so the partnership is really very good. Second of all, this is the biggest of the 6 projects. This is the big one. 105 megawatts. It's got the, if you look at the rating on this project, out of the 6 we have, this is the top. This is the #1 for efficiency, the most megawatt hours we can get out of it. So that's one of the reasons also. Also, most importantly, today's event demonstrates the commitment of AMP and its members that we're making, and it's real. I know a lot of people, when we said we're going to build 6 hydroelectric plants, and 4 of them probably at the same time, we had a lot of people scratching their heads, saying, I don't know if they can get this done. That's a huge accomplishment. But this one represents the 3rd out of the 6. Hopefully we'll get the 4th one started this year. I think that's a huge commitment. And we're moving forward on a really run-of-the-river development, which is the leader in the country. This is far the biggest deployment of hydroelectric in the country at this point. AMP and our members' communities are rightfully proud today. This project will bring many benefits. It will bring diversification of our power supply resources. It will expand our use of renewable energy. It will secure dependable generation sources that provide benefits well into the future. To give you an idea, this project will operate well past 50 years. These projects usually run 70, 80 years. They have to have license extensions. But the fact is, when debt service runs off on these projects, the cost of the energy to our members will be in the 3.5-cent range. And that is tremendous when you look at 30 years from now, what our members are committing for their sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters. It is a reliable, cheap, safe energy. Also, more importantly, is new jobs, both during the construction as well as new jobs during the operation. As I've said many times, hydroelectric generation, at least in this part of the country, is superior to any other renewable technology. With capacity factors that range from 60 to 70% and predictable performance, hydro generation facilities can be reliable and used as baseload resources, meaning you can almost predict them and use them around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's very critical when you're looking at keeping the lights on. Along the Ohio River, these valuable resources have remained largely untapped. That's why AMP is committed to these projects and bringing the potential to the reality. We've had a great deal of support along the way. First and foremost, our Board of Trustees, some of them are here, and our member communities have positioned AMP to take these projects forward. And our members of the board have been actively engaged in this project and also the process. The City of Hamilton staff have worked tirelessly on making this project a reality. And I will tell you, Hamilton doesn't have the resources that AMP has as far as the people. They have talented people, but they don't have the numbers we have. So this was a huge undertaking for Hamilton to develop this, and I got to give them a lot of credit. They've done a pretty darn good job to date. Let's give them a hand. We also appreciate the efforts of FERC and the Army Corps of Engineers. Together we're moving forward on these important projects, and that partnership is very critical because these are a long, drawn-out process, and we have to have teamwork in all we do. And of course, we want to thank our elected officials at the state and federal levels for their continued support of the hydroelectric generation development on the river. These officials certainly include our keynote speaker, Governor Steve Beshear, U.S. Senators Mitch McConnell and Jim Bunning, Congressman Jeff Davis. I think the aide Rick Van Meter's here also. Senator Robin Webb is here, and State Representative Mike Denham. In addition to our speakers this morning, we are honored to have Kentucky House Majority Floor Leader Rocky Atkins with us. Leader Atkins, thank you for being here. And on the Ohio River side of the river, we want to acknowledge Governor Ted Strickland, U.S. Senators George Voinovich and Sherrod Brown, Congressman John Boehner, State Senator Gary Cates, and State Representative Courtney Combs. Thank you all for your continued support of AMP's efforts to bring these projects online. And I truly mean this. You are helping your constituents. When you elected officials help us, these are very, very, very drawn out. They're very complicated projects. Every one of you that I mentioned has played a huge role in moving these projects forward. Also, to the local officials here in Kentucky, we're excited to be part of this community, and we look forward to a long working relationship. You know, it's comforting to know because we believe in this, AMP and its members. We are municipals, we are, the neighborhoods, the communities. And I've heard comments that Tom's doing a great job locally, and Tom, thank you very much from Hamilton. That means he's getting to be part of the community, which is extremely important, and that's what we want to do. We are not going to come in here and just provide jobs and walk away. We believe we need to be a part of the fabric of every one of these communities. The dam here, where the project is being constructed, is named after Captain Anthony Meldahl, who in his day was one of the most famous steamboat captains on the river. One of his career highlights was steering the steamboat that took the President and Miss Warren G. Harding up the river from Cincinnati to Point Pleasant. If you think about the symbolism with the President on board, Captain Meldahl was moving the representative of the nation forward. I can't help but think that today we're doing the same thing, moving the nation forward. Hydroelectric generation is nothing new. It's been used to generate electricity for over 100 years. It was in 1880 when the Grand Rapids Light and Power Company in Michigan first began using hydroelectric power to energize lighting at the Wolverine Chair Factory. But improvements in technology have increased the efficiency of hydro plants today, and these plants are an important component in the nation's energy strategy. What we're doing today is acknowledging that leaving untapped resources in this region does not make sense. We will continue our efforts to harness the energy that the river helps us to provide. As I mentioned before, hydroelectric generation deployment is not only providing a new resource efficient generation on a national level, it is also an important economic tool with the potential to create thousands of new jobs. In October of 2009, I had the pleasure of participating in an organized event by the National Hydropower Association, and it was actually at the Voinovich Hydro offices in York, Pennsylvania, where they released a study on the jobs created by hydro development. The study identified the potential of 23 to 60,000 megawatts of new development that could be installed by 2025. The study estimated that this capacity could create 230 to 700,000 new jobs. The development we're celebrating today is just part of those jobs. This project is another part of AMP's strategy to help reduce our members' communities' overexposure to the volatile wholesale electric markets and also to diversify our generation resources. As an organization, we understand the need to strike a balance between responsible fossil fuel projects and renewable generation projects. As I mentioned, this is the largest deployment of new run-of-the-river hydroelectric generation in the country. In addition, AMP recently announced a partnership that has the potential to yield the nation's largest solar development at 300 megawatts. Add to this our efforts to add additional wind generation resources in the region, and you can see that AMP and its member communities are leading the way in deploying renewable resources. But our efforts won't stop here. We also recently announced a partnership. I hope that's not something I need down the road. Thanks, Governor. We also recently announced a partnership to create and implement a large energy efficiency program in our member communities. The Efficiency Smart Power Plant is being created through a partnership with the Vermont Energy Investment Corporation and has the potential to save 70,000 megawatts of electricity